Welcome to the Church Security Answer Man video blog, where it's all about ministry safety, security, and making a difference for people. And now, your host, a former law enforcement officer, criminal justice trainer, and security expert, Captain Joe Puckett.
To the Church Security Answer Man video blog. I'm very happy that you've chosen to join us, and I hope to help you discuss things or to prepare for things. That's certainly what we're talking about today in this quick video blog is how are we going to deal with medical emergencies as a security team or as a safety team, however you look at it. How are we going to deal with those medical emergencies? So they can come in different forms. They can be something that happens all of a sudden or comes on over a very subtle process. So we want to be prepared for that, though. Pre-planning is very important. Who's going to do what? One of the first things that we want to think about is who do we have that's medically trained? Certainly, that's not something that's easy to do. Somebody maybe within our ministry that's already a medical professional. We can utilize them if we know that they're available. Or who else on our staff or our security team, safety team is trained medically. So one of the first things we want to discuss is it possible in preparing for these medical emergencies that we actually have a schedule? Maybe we ask these folks, these off-duty medical professionals or those trained for EMT work, maybe we ask them, can we put you on a schedule where we know there's at least one of you here every week? That's one of the first things that I'd think about trying to do if you can, so that you're prepared for those things. Then what about providing some sort of basic medical kit? What would that handle, or what would that contain? And we'll talk about that in the future, some basic stuff, some items that can be barriers for me, if I'm trying some sort of mask, if I'm going to give CPR or gloves, those kinds of things certainly should be contained within that kit. And then what's going to happen? Who's going to provide that medical? Who's going to go call 911? And who's going to maybe go out and meet the professionals as they come in, as the responding medical folks, as they're coming in? Is it difficult to find your facility? So is somebody going to go out and meet them and guide them in? So also, what do we have as far as what should we prepare for? What kind of things are going to happen? We may have the incident where somebody actually passes out, maybe at their seat during the service, or maybe in the aisle or on their way in through the foyer. How are we going to handle that situation? How are we going to react? Thinking we need to react very quickly. Sometimes our brains will want to say to us, is this really happening? Is this a big deal? What's going on? We need to be prepared and be pre-planning that if somebody goes down, we're actually going to respond and react. And then the question comes is, are we going to leave them where they're at, which is probably more medically acceptable, or are we going to try to remove them to a foyer or somewhere outside of the ministry service? So most of the time, some evaluation has to take place ahead of time, but you want to consult with medical professionals certainly on that aspect. The other thing is realizing something might be going on when it's very subtle. If you have someone that's a larger person in your ministry and suddenly they walk up to you and say their arm's hurting them, they feel numbness up and down their arm, maybe they feel faint. Sometimes we might look at that and say, maybe even they're even joking with you a little bit about how old and out of shape they are, those kind of things. So it's a light deal. But realistically, even though they're handling it in a light manner, maybe because they're embarrassed a little bit or they're not sure, that can be a very serious matter. So we need to be planning for those things. Sometimes they don't seem like emergencies, but it can be a very serious situation. So we want to be ready to react, and we want to get our minds thinking in that manner. So I'm certainly not offering medical advice here. I'm just thinking of things that we need to discuss relative to things that can happen within our ministries. And certainly a medical emergency is one of the most likely incidents to happen to our ministries or within our ministries. So do we have people available? And then getting that brain trained to react and pre-planning that process. So, and how are we going to handle that? How are we going to deal with that? Who's calling 911? Who's going out to meet those folks? Those are all very, very important things. So thank you. Thank you for taking a moment to spend with us and pre-planning on a very quick topic here, talking about medical emergencies. So this has been the Church Security Answer Man video blog. You can contact us and look at other information. We have podcasts, audio shows, written blogs, and different briefing trainings that we're beginning to put together for you. And you can find those 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at the churchsecurityanswerman.com. churchsecurityanswerman.com. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.
Thanks for watching the Church Security Answer Man video blog. Get more by joining us anytime at churchsecurityanswerman.com.